Welcome to the Dog Trainers Podcast, a podcast created by dog trainers, for dog trainers, or anyone who's ever fallen in love with man's best friend.
Episode 15, a deeper look into e-collar dog training. But yeah, so moving a dog too fast into off-leash definitely can equate to bad things, not only because this kind of overlays with a lot of the other bad practices, because if the dog is given too much too soon, he's not going to perform, which means you're most likely overcorrecting, because somebody who moves a dog too fast, it's you might assume that like maybe you also are assuming the dog just isn't listening to you, so you're turning it up, or you're
Right.
or you put the dog in a position to where
Yeah.
that's just what it is now. Like the dog takes off after a squirrel, you really have no choice but to correct at that point. But
Right.
the dog ain't gonna listen because he just wasn't ready for all this freedom. And I love to give people this example of one of my dogs, that dogs are extremely aware of when the leash is on and when it's not, even if
Yep.
the e-collar is on. And an example being my personal dog Simba, when I was teaching him e-collar, this was years ago now, I got him to the point before the e-collar came in. I would take him to the park, work 30 foot, downstays, and then recalls on a long leash and a prong collar. And I would walk all the way 30 feet. At the end of the leash, it's in my hand, Simba come, and he would do it perfectly, rep after rep. And then all I did to be different, put him down, walk away. The leash is in my hand. I just drop it. It's right there by my feet. I'm still 30 feet away. Simba come. Nothing. Simba come, Simba come, Simba come. I bend down to grab the leash, and I never get to it. I just bend down, and he jumps up and starts coming to me. And I'm like, okay. So a couple days later, collar. You're right. So a couple days later, the collar gets here. I put it on. Same thing. I drop the leash on the floor. Simba come. He doesn't move. I give him a little pop with the collar. He goes, whoa, and he gets up and runs to me. And you see this like immediacy in him, not because I hit him hard, because I didn't, but because it was like, how the hell? Like, what was that?
Right.
And so and I can see him looking at me like
what witchcraft is this?
Right. What society is this? And like,
Yeah, exactly.
What happened a couple days after that, I took him to the to the regular park, sorry, not the dog park, and took the leash off. We get there, took the leash off, and I was like, okay, Simba, lay down. And he was like, peace. And he was gone. And I was like, nope, Simba come, I'm giving him a chance. I jump on my button, Simba come, boom. And I see him like slowly kind of turn around, head back to me. And then he's like, okay, what the hell? And he had this different understanding of like, how are you doing this? And I just pair that with like correcting in the crate, blah, blah, blah. And so definitely if you move your dog into off leash too fast, you can have issues like that. And I was lucky that my dog was conditioned pretty well, but as I've gotten better with my e-collar training, I've gotten even better at off leash conditioning in ways that are safe.
That's amazing. That's a great point that you bring around, man. Oh, I love that. This is actually a really good podcast. You guys ever thought about that? Has that thought gone through your head?
How many glasses in are you, bro?
I'm like four.
Okay.
4 glasses.
Let us move on.
Let's do it.
Let me ask you something, Shona. You touched on this a little bit in the beginning.
Okay.
Now that we've been able to reiterate a lot of this,
Okay.
over any other training tool, why use an e-collar?
Reliability.
Okay.
Yes, reliability. Like it's. Well, you said it. It's the consistent language. It's the consistency of the sensation. Meaning that the dog will respond the way that you have trained it to anywhere you need it to. I think that's my reason.
You know what's funny?
When a dog is wearing an e-collar and they have training in place, that's a reliable dog.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I use them. Yeah.
You know what's funny is for all, like we really, Brent and I, when we were kind of planning out, like getting the timing of tonight so that we can all get together for the podcast tonight, we really we like respect how humble and everything that you are, but we had no doubt that you know a lot more about e-collar than I think you do. Like, you totally deserve a seat at this table in this conversation, so to speak. And I think that
100%.
I was super happy about when we were kind of going through these points that we've been going through, from what people think to the science to good and bad practices and things, all of the different components to e-collar, like as I've kind of gone through and dissected, because I'm a nerd, so I'll sit and write things out with my blog and stuff like that. And it helps me think of all the different facets, because sometimes you sit and think in one little stint and then tomorrow you're like, oh, I forgot this. How did I forget that? And I knew that you guys were gonna round out everything altogether. I think we've come up with a really clear understanding, and it's nice. I think it's good that you are a very competent e-collar trainer. And I just want to give the quick little shout out before we move on. WeHo Dog Trainer on Instagram, guys. Definitely make sure to check out her videos. They're very good. I've looked at them. They're
Thank
super
you.
good. And I think that
Thanks.
I think it's just a matter of just keep going, and your stuff's gonna blow up, no doubt.
Yeah.
But
keep
thank
doing your
you.
thing, girl.
I will.
Yeah,
I plan on it.
so
get it.
with that said, Brent, why use an e-collar?
Are we doing the whole one word thing? Let's see.
Oh, you can do whatever you want.
I went for one word, so pressure's on.
Oh, that was good. You said reliability. Jeez, what's a good?
Also, I said pressure on was definitely a pun.
Like the other day where you were like, shockingly. Anyways.
I was like, it's shocking to me that not everyone has an e-collar.
You guys are being overly sensational.
Oh, you're just stop. All right. Use an e-collar. I'm gonna say, based on the way that I train, it definitely gives you an insurance, which is reliability, right? Like it gives you insurance. I don't recommend e-collar for all my clients, but definitely the dogs that I know will go after that squirrel, will go after that dog, will be impulsive because that is their nature. That's really insurance. It's a sense of security, that people can have. So I would say security.
Yeah, I think what I used to tell people was an off-leash trained dog will always behave better on or off a leash than an on-leash trained dog. And I think that what it comes down to me is just the culmination of my e-collar experience and just how it's been able to work wonders for dogs. Because not only we're talking like straight up obedience, but when we talk behavior mod, when we talk some more serious stuff, and dogs with like huge separation anxiety, tearing up crate type stuff, hurting themselves, breaking windows type stuff, there's a certain ease, a certain peace that comes with e-collar training. And I think that kind of plays down to just accountability. Dogs are just a little more aware, a little more of the time when you do e-collar training with them.
I agree, man. I agree.
That's
just real
a great
quick
point. I think. I was going to say,
No,
just like you mentioned, separation anxiety, and so I can't believe we didn't talk about it, but yeah, I think that's a whole episode in itself, as how e-collar can help with that. It's in the name, separation anxiety. So how else?
Well, there it is. We'll have Shona back for episode 16, a deeper look into separation anxiety.
We can let's totally do that. I want to go ahead and just shout out just a couple of popular e-collar brands. So one that we use commonly, and it's so funny because I realize they're the only one with a yellow round remote, right? Yeah. Everyone else has the boring type of remote, but let's go ahead and shout out to Educator. E-collar Technologies, they're killing it right now. I think they're at the top of their game. However, we have to go ahead and shout out to some of the more traditional, the Sport Dog brand is really, really important. Dogtra is really, really important. One that is true with not just e-collar technology, but other types of electronics is Garmin.
Yes, they make a fantastic bark collar.
Yeah, they have fantastic bark collars.
And GPS collars for hunting dogs.
Yep. Pet Safe. We have Pet Safe also. Pet Safe is a pretty reliable, trusted brand. Those are the main ones. Those are the ones that I would trust. Usually when it comes to e-collar technologies, you get what you pay for, right? So if you pay $30 for an e-collar, there's a reason for it, right?
You know what though? It's crazy because with e-collar technologies, you get more than what you pay for, because what really sold me on them, because Dogtra collars are very good collars, and they're comparable in their like functionality, I think, and they have even more levels, like more nuance. It goes to like 127 with the Dogtra, the 280, right? And so what really sold me on Educator, not to say that Dogtra doesn't, I just didn't necessarily experience it like to the same extent, but Educator's well, Educator's customer service is on point.
Oh my goodness, so good. They're so great. They'll just send you parts for free. It's amazing.
And
I'll be like, this $90 part broke, and in 2 days it was like sitting on my doorstep.
Boom. Isn't that great?
I was like, oh my gosh. I was impressed.
I love that too. I love it. And anyone with good customer service who's a big name, like to be a big name and have good customer service, that
Right.
sets you apart from the rest.
Absolutely.
Right? I love that. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank everybody for listening. Most importantly, I want to thank you so much for joining us, Shona. I think you added so much to this podcast, and I can't wait for people to get to know who you are and people to get to follow you on Instagram. You guys can go ahead and follow Shona on Instagram at WEHODOGTRAINER. Go ahead and follow me at CANISBEHAVIor. And go ahead and follow Mariano at UNTAMEDDOGCO. That's Untamed Dog Co. Again, this is episode 15, a deeper look into e-collar training. Please like it, comment below. Go ahead and subscribe, whether you're on YouTube or whether you're on one of our podcast platforms. Go ahead and leave our comments. And if you guys have any questions, make sure that you guys email us at dogtrainerspodcast@gmail.com. And we look forward to seeing you guys for episode 16. Thank you again so much. Much love to everybody. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
All right. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Dog Trainers Podcast, a podcast created by dog trainers for dog trainers or anyone who's ever fallen in love with man's best friend.
We'll see you next time.